watch a couple, 3 videos here, and a little backstory action. This is on the DrDisrespect situation, and I know you're saying, "Oh, this has been played out to the hilt," and everybody, this is, I'm gonna give my take on it because it has recently resurfaced, and DrDisrespect himself called out Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, Dr. Lupo, and Z-Laner. So I'm going to cover this. I'm going to watch a video. I'm going to comment on it. And I've got 3 videos. It starts off with DrDisrespect. He goes off on these guys. Nick Merckx does a reaction video to what Doc said. And then Z-Laner came out and made a statement as well. I'm going to cover what these 3 guys have to say, give my comment on all of them, and let you know what I believe the story is with all of this and what I think the reality of the situation is. I've been around the block a couple times, I know the score and I know how things work. And I'll give you the grown-up answer to what went on here and put an end to the nonsense. But here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go to the first video. I got it queued up. This is DrDisrespect calls out Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, Doc Lupo, and Z-Laner. And away we go.
One today, as seemingly out of nowhere, DrDisrespect has now called out people like Nick Merckx, and Dr. Lupo also mentions Tim the Tatman, Z-Laner, and more, as he called them out for calling him out for his past admittance of actions amidst all of those Twitch allegations, and went on a ramble, specifically someone like Nick Merckx, as he called him a big old pansy for his stance against the doc.
Oh man, I'm just in like a bad mood, but at the same time, it's just like I have to say the obvious. I do. Like, who does that? You know what I mean, champs? These people have met, like those 2 people met Mrs. Assassin and Baby Assassin, Little Assassin, right? They met him multiple times. So for Nick to go on some fucking low-budget podcast and talk about us the way he did, like, who does that? Like, pause the music. Pause the. I just gotta say it. Like, who does that? You fucking phony pussy. And then Lupo's screaming at the top of his lungs. He's got 400 viewers now. No one gives a, like, he's always copied us. Transitions, intros, all that stuff. He always has. Like, I'm just gonna go and release some stuff off my mind just because just because I got so many technical fucking issues and audio issues and everything's always there's always fucking technical issues happening on the stream, huh? Right? It gets me all fired up. So then it makes me want to really speak my mind. We get it, Doc. Calm down. All right. You sure? I was about to just go off. I was really about to go off on these fucking idiots. Disrespecting me. Disrespecting my Mrs. Assassin, Little Assassin. Come on, man. That's how you get knocked the fuck out. This guy thinks he's is Nick Merckx, dude? I don't even know what happened to him. I don't know if he's still around. He thinks he's like tough guy putting his oh, who can I knock out in a fight list together? Like, first off, who does that shit, man? Second off, this guy wouldn't even fucking come close.
First of all, I'm going to say this about him. This guy's best answer is to shut his mouth, number 1. Because all he's doing, and I don't know why he's doing this, because he really maintained about 85% of what his viewership was prior. He frankly dodged another big bullet, all right, to begin with, because this isn't his first go-around. First go-around was he cheated on his wife at some Twitch con or something with some young tart, I don't know, wannabe. Anyway, so this is his second go-around. A married guy has a little kid, and this has finally pretty much died down. He's back to streaming again. His viewership is the guy's really knocking it out of the park from a professional standpoint. People watch his stuff, and frankly, I will say, I mean, from a production standpoint, I know he has technical difficulties, and I can speak for myself because I was running a dual PC setup and had a lot going on here. You know, it doesn't take much for this shit to go wrong. Now I've gone to a single PC setup, and I can tell you, from a production standpoint, it's much smoother. I know this guy's got a very sophisticated podcast that he does, or stream, or whatever you want to call it. It's very sophisticated. He does a lot of really, really good stuff. He is an excellent streamer. There's no question about it. He has a lot of. He's just good. I mean, he's creative. He's good. He comes up with stuff. He's excellent. I know he has a crew and everything. I don't know why he did this. To me, this is a mistake on his part. All right? And why he's calling out these other guys, I have no idea. Because frankly, if what he was accused of and all that didn't do him in, he's back on YouTube. He's back monetized on YouTube. He's on another one. Rumble, I guess, is the one he's on. I think it's Rumble. He's on. They paid him a lot of money. He's back monetized on YouTube. I know he said Twitch should reinstate him. That's water over the dam. I don't know, if he really, But anyway, this was a mistake. And I don't know why he did this, but this is wrong. Well, what he did, and now he's just drudging everything up again. It's not a good look for this guy. But I'll let him go on.
No way. Anyways, I just don't know who, the type of mentality to go on and talk about someone like that. Like, you just got to be, you're lost. You don't do that. Time out.
And to me, this feels like a final burning of the bridges. I don't know what stemmed or what sparked this conversation to begin with. Obviously, Doc has been playing with a few streamers out there. Someone like Rallied, someone like Bobby Poff, but not many others. He also recently asked Twitch to maybe unban him, given their recent updates where there's a severity of violations, and apparently some of those severities have these bans set to expire over certain periods of time. I don't know if that's going to mean Doc is going to be included in that, but he's been active and he's been talking a lot. And now just calling out these streamers, though, months after the fact, where, of course, we saw someone like Nick Merckx post a video about Doc. We saw Tim the Tatman do the same. We saw ZLaner and Dr. Lupo and Ninja and many other streamers give their response and take on that Twitch situation and have their stance be clearly against Dr. Disrespect and distancing themselves from him and no longer playing games alongside him on stream. It was very clear their stance so long ago. So why is he now, out of nowhere, calling them all pansies? I have no idea. Others were also mentioned in this ramble. I'm sure you guys are not surprised.
They're convinced, and they're all convinced by the narrative that was put out by, guess who? Rolling Stones, Washington Post, right? Little fucking depressed, deep-eyed slasher. All these people, right? These people we can't relate to. And it's unfortunate. But the real truth, after that, it was revealed. Look at these fucking fake phonies, man. I mean, you're literally, Nick's going on a podcast talking about us, champs. I don't even fucking... Look, there's a difference between having to, as a person in the industry, just speak up on it. And, for example, Tim and ZLaner, they're good people. They're good people. They responded in a way where it's hey, from what we've heard, okay, again, give me a call, shoot me a DM, whatever. Let's talk about it. Explain it in a couple minutes. Boom, that's it. But they never did that. So for those that are asking, you should play with Z or Timmy, the only way is they'd have to apologize. Not publicly. I don't care about it. They just come up and say, hey, made a mistake. Boom, let's get back into it. Then I'm good, right? That's how I deal with shit, right? Hey, as long as you learn from it, you apologize, boom, you move on. This whole exaggerated narrative that was built up, so pathetic. Bunch of fucking pussies, is what it is. We've got Bobby Rallied. We got Vis. Do we have to network to stay relevant or popular or do what? No, champs. All these fucking other people, they need each other. They need the streamer awards show.
See, he's correct on this, in a way. He has proven, and this is why I made the point that I made about 2 minutes earlier. I don't know why this guy's doing this, because he doesn't need any of these people. He's been a pariah now for months, all right, for months, and 7, 8 months now, when this all broke, and he's back to doing business. This guy's probably making more money now than he did before all this happened. He got a big deal with Rumble. He's back monetized on YouTube. This guy's rolling it in without all these people. He doesn't need them. Number two, you learn if you're ever a famous person or whatever, you learn real fast that if you're the top dog, you're going to face people that are jealous of you and people that want to take your place. All right? And anybody that's ever been successful in life or good at whether it's sports or video gaming or whatever it could be, whether you're a great musician, whatever. If you're the man, you're always going to have people sniping at you. That's how you know you've made it. Because if people ain't calling you out and criticizing you, then you really have no relevance. Because if you're the man, they're going to come after you, and you better have a thick skin, and you better be able to handle it, or you're going to be a very, very short-lived person wherever you are, because they're gonna crush you. And as I was an athlete, as that goes, go play the games. Nobody, you're in charge of your own performance. Go play your game, and the people in the stands can't affect the game. They can't do a damn thing. They can scream and holler all they want, but you're the guy with the ball, or you're the guy with the bat, or whatever sport you're playing. So, this is all nonsense, and I don't know why he did this. I don't know. But he needs to. If I was him, I wouldn't even get involved with any of this stuff, because Lord only knows. We'll continue on.
They need a network. They need Twitch. They need to do this. We need to do a hot tub stream together. We need to fucking make sure we collab.
It's like, holy shit, Dexerto, it's like a dick-sucking website for Kai Cenat. And when I'm not in the Lamborghini on the way to the arena or doing hot shot 360s to win games on the main stage in front of the brightest LED lights imaginable, I got common sense people coming up to the two-times. Hey, two-time, what's up, man? Congratulations on the Rumble. Congratulations on the YouTube monetization, right? It ain't
PDF pedophile. Anime picture, he, him, she, her. Look at this guy. He's still around. He's still relevant.
It ain't like that. Fuck that. They want to believe that, but it ain't that. That ain't the case.
I gotta admit, this guy's an entertainer.
Shirtle's gonna write their little article. Jake Lucky, he's going, oh man, did you get it? And what's his partner's name, who's like a hardcore liberal dude?
But at this point, it just feels like kicking the same rock, and it's not really going anywhere. I highly doubt we'll see responses from all of these streamers that Doc mentioned here. Maybe a couple of them, like maybe Nick Merckx gives response to the situation. But by now, they have already talked about this subject. They have beat the dead horse so many times. And even someone like Z and others have...
See, ladies and gentlemen, and that could really conclude anything of any substance in that video. That's the whole thing. It's beating a dead horse. To me, he accomplished nothing there other than stirring up a lot of stuff, and he is correct. Make no mistake about it. He does not need anybody. He could go on live, pick 2-3 guys up off the street, play Warzone or whatever, and he's going to have the biggest audience on YouTube or on Rumble watching him play video games with whoever he picks up. He does not need these people. I would argue that they need him, and he's correct on that they need him more than he needs them. That's just my take on it. I don't know why he did this, but I'm going to move along now to what Nick Merckx has to say. This is Nick Merckx's response. Same guy, Jake Lucky. Same string of videos. There's 3 of them. That's the first one where Doc goes on his rampage, Now, this is Nick Merckx' response to what Doc said. Here we go. And I got the goddamn
Already had
thing,
2 or 3 coffees by this time late in the afternoon.
Here
This
we
is
go.
a response by Nick Merckx to Dr. Disrespect. In case you guys missed it, we covered it yesterday as Doc called out a lot of
Sorry
people.
about
He
that.
spoke about Z-Laner, Tim the Tatman, called out Dr. Lupo, and especially called out Nick Merckx as he called him a phony and a pussy over what he
We'll go to
did
display
now months
only here.
ago, standing up against the Doc and his actions, which he self-admitted to around these Twitch
All right, let me
allegations.
start this over
also
again
months
for
ago.
ya.
Everything keeps. Hope we're all doing well, enjoying today
Here
so
we go.
far. Probably already had 2 or 3 coffees
This
by
is
this
Nick
time late in the
Merckx'
afternoon.
response.
This is a response by Nick Merckx to Dr. Disrespect. In case you guys missed it, we covered it yesterday as Doc called out a lot of people. He spoke about Z-Laner, Tim the Tatman, called out Dr. Lupo, and especially called out Nick Merckx as he called him a phony and a pussy over what he did now months ago, standing up against the Doc and his actions, which he self-admitted to around these Twitch allegations also months ago. Everything we're talking about today happened months ago, including when Nick spoke up and also when Doc responded to a podcast clip that Nick had out there months ago. Here's what Doc had to say.
Oh man, I'm just in like a bad mood, but at the same time, it's just like I have to say the obvious. I do. Like, who does that? You know what I mean, champs? These people have met, like those 2 people met Mrs. Assassin and Baby Assassin, Little Assassin, right? They met him multiple times. So for Nick to
that's
go
his
on some
wife and
fucking
daughter.
low-budget podcast and talk about us the way he did, like who does that? I like pause the music, I just gotta say it. Like who does that? You fucking phony pussy. And then Lupo's screaming at the top of his lungs. He's got 400 viewers now. No one gives a, like he's always copied us, transitions, intros, all that stuff. He's always has. Like I'm just gonna go and release some stuff off my mind just because I got so many technical fucking issues and audio issues and everything's always there's always fucking technical issues happening on the stream, huh? Right? It gets me all fired up. So then it makes me want to really speak my mind. We get it, Doc. Calm down. All right. You sure? I was about to just go off. I was really about to go off on these fucking idiots. Disrespecting me, disrespecting my Mrs. Assassin, Little Assassin. Come on, man. That's how you get knocked the fuck out. This guy thinks he's is Nick Merckx, dude? I don't even know what happened to him. I don't know if he's still around. He thinks he's like tough guy putting his who can I knock out in a fight list together. Like first off, who does that shit, man? Second off, this guy wouldn't even fucking come close. No way. Anyways, I just don't know who, like, the type of mentality to go on and talk about someone like that. Like, you just gotta be, you're lost. You don't do that. Time out.
And so Nick Merckx has now had a lengthy response. I will not play you guys everything, but he went on to rant for probably 10 to 15 plus minutes on this subject. And to kick things off, he said his first thoughts around this, where he thought Doc was off his pills, but also makes note of this podcast clip that Doc was responding to, where Nick was speaking about the Doc situation in Twitch, was 6 months ago. 6 months ago, after Doc vanished off the face of the earth and admitted to everything in that now deleted tweet. That is when Nick made these comments on the podcast 6 months ago. So why Doc decided now to speak up against all these people? That's why yesterday in the video I said it was kind of a burning of the bridges, because it made no sense. It was out of nowhere, and Nick had a lot to say.
I think my first thought that hit my head was this motherfucker didn't take his pills. Like instantly. I was like, yo, is this guy off the fucking the wagon? Did he... Hey, Dad, you seen this? Look at this guy. I don't think he took his fucking meds. That was my first thought. Swear to God. I swear to the Almighty. Then I see, what do they call him? The Slick Daddy Club on X. Slick Daddy Club, huh? And I see him on X, man, and they're just on, like they're just on the Johnson. I mean, they are doing tricks. They're jumping, they're dancing, they're clapping. They're just like, Nicky, you know. So I'm seeing a little bit of that. Then I have my next thought, you know. And I'm like, I mean, I haven't spoken about this in months, maybe like a half a year. Gary, when was the last time that Chad, when was the last time that we spoke about this? I mean, I don't even remember. This is history. August, maybe. Fucking September. It's about to be March. It's been like 6 months, 7 months. You know, that was my next thought. I was like, holy fuck, man. Now people are seeing the podcast clip, and I think that what a lot of people are getting is that this just came out. But this motherfucking podcast came out 6 months ago. And it was after this guy left. This guy put out a tweet saying he did what they're saying he did, in his own words, and then he left.
But even more so, Nick goes on to point out how in his original statement, he was like, dude, you got a daughter. And
Listen, what you have here is another guy. This guy here, Nick Merckx, who's another guy that's he's made millions of dollars on this, tens of millions of dollars. He's signed by, I don't remember who. He's signed by this one, then they go off and another outfit signs him. I don't know. He's on another contract with somebody. I don't remember who. But you're talking about two guys that are making, in fact, all these guys are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Easily doing this shit. And they're having a cat fight right now. And it seems like this guy, DrDisrespect, is butthurt that his buddies abandoned him over these allegations. And I probably should have gone over this prior to showing these videos. Allegedly, DrDisrespect inappropriately was communicating through Twitch, a Twitch whispers mechanism, or a Twitch chat, or something within Twitch that's now no longer part of Twitch, to a minor female, and supposedly it was inappropriate. I have no idea, because nobody has seen what the communications were. What happened was Twitch ended their partnership with DrDisrespect. He lost all of his advertisers, which were significant. San Francisco 49ers. I believe Astro had a deal with him, or one of the headset companies had a deal with him. I think it was Astro or SteelSeries or somebody had a contract. Well, this guy had contracts with everybody. He had his own gaming studio, and they even cut him off. And he co-owned the studio, and they said, we're no longer affiliated with you, and out he went. Of course, that project that he had is now gone, all because of these allegations. However, he sued Twitch, and Twitch paid him. He won his lawsuit, so Twitch had to pay him whatever the contract was, and it was tens of millions of dollars. We're not talking about $50 here, ladies and gentlemen. So this all happened years ago. But evidently, the NDA, the non-disclosure agreement that they had, ceased. The time ran out. These are all things that happened back, I think, in 2019, 2020. And there was a 4-year NDA, and the NDA happened, and one of the low-level people at Twitch spilled what went on here, and it caused a shitstorm last summer, the summer of 2024. What ended up happening is YouTube demonetized them. All these guys said, we can't support this, and rightfully so. There has to be some type of a line drawn morally. And all these guys that he played games with every day, and these guys were like the Rat Pack of video gaming, they all abandoned him. He went away, he took a month off, and he did release a tweet that more or less said as some things would maybe cross the line or whatever, and he mealy mouthed through it. And that's where we stood. And then it died off. And now this guy finally starting to get things back. YouTube remonetized him, so he got his YouTube monetization back, which is significant. This guy's, I'm sure, drawing a couple $100,000 a month just off of fucking YouTube. Plus, he signed a big deal with Rumble for tens of millions of dollars. This guy's making a ton of money, this guy, DrDisrespect. And now he comes out and he starts this shit up, which I have no idea why. Now this is his buddy Nick Merckx, who I guess they used to be on gaming all the time. He started hammering this guy, as you could see. I don't even know what he said in the podcast, and I believe Nick Merckx that he probably did this 6 months ago because this topic sort of went away. And this guy was pretty much, doctors is back to doing business as normal. Now he starts up again. And now here's Nick Merckx responding back, and we'll go back to Jake Lucky again. We'll go back to the video.
And you have a wife, one that you've also cheated on. How are you having these leaning towards inappropriate conversations to begin with a minor? And that's why he also called Doc a weirdo, and among other things, where he was like, yeah, that's why we cut things off. That's why we're not chill with you anymore. Because despite meeting your wife in person, it doesn't mean they have to be okay with the things that you admitted to doing.
Bye-bye. I'm going to the mountains or some shit, this guy said. Or something.
Which is true.
The hills. The fucking trees.
He said he was going on vacation.
I don't know.
Yeah. To the beach or something. Yeah, he's right.
That was my third thought. Do people know when this podcast clip came out? Do they remember? Then my fourth thought. I had a lot of thoughts about this. Then my fourth thought. Ready? My fourth thought was I kind of felt bad. That was number 4. It took me 3 whole thoughts to get to the fourth one where I had a little goodness from my little heart come out. I said, aw, I feel bad. I do. And I don't feel bad for him. I just feel bad for the communities, if you will, the people. Because I get it, man. I get it. Verdansk, me, Timmy, Clocky, Doc, gaming together, playing, you know what I mean? Fucking having fun. I get it, man. I get it. I get it. And I know that, like, that, those are some good times. I understand that. And I know the realization is setting in, like, you know, that ain't happening like that anymore or in the future. So I feel bad about all that, man. I really do. It's, you know, it is what it is. But guys, you have to look at your own lives and think, how many people have you known? How many things have happened that have changed the direction for yourself and these people? It's life. It's fucking life, you guys. You go through life and you move forward. Things happen. You got to adjust. You got to take them as they come, man. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy. You can't predict half the shit that happens, but it's like, oh my God, you know? And these things will pop up. They happen. You just got to roll through it. And that's what I've been doing. I gave everybody my thoughts. People seem to forget, you know, when the whole internet was after this guy, when we hadn't heard from him, I was the only one that was like, whoa, 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 whoa.
He's not lying about this because this guy disappeared for over a month. And I remember when he had his first stream, because my father was dying at the time and I was in Florida. And I remember I was in a grocery store, Publix in DeLand, Florida, when DrDisrespect's first stream post all of this hitting the fan, his first stream, I remember watching his first stream on my cell phone, going through Publix, picking some food up for my pop because he wanted to eat that day, and we went out and got him what he needed to eat. And I remember talking to Shady, my producer, about all this, and we all had the same idea that, we don't know the facts yet. Let's wait for all the facts to come out. And I'll give this guy here credit, and I'll speak about him in a minute, what I think of him. He did support him in the beginning and said, listen, let's let the facts come out. Which is what anybody with any kind of logic or any kind of intellect would say, instead of jumping the gun and hammering this guy without really knowing what the devil went on. We'll continue.
Let's wait to just hear everything. Let's see what's going on, right? Like, we can't just have somebody say that this person did this, and then we don't even hear anything. We don't even see anything. So I got fucking hung up on the cross. I did. They crucified me. Now, granted, at that point in my career, I was damned if I do, I was damned if I don't, But I got spit on for telling everybody I was the only one. Pokimane doing her shit, Hasanabi, fucking everybody. I'm the only motherfucker that was like, wait, hold on. The only one. This guy comes out with a tweet that he edits like 19 times that says that inappropriate text to a minor. I mean, what? I just can't there's a lot of people out there that must truly lack the perspective. Look, I never really, I'm not going door to door calling this guy this or calling this guy that. I didn't say any words, any buzzwords. I did call him a tard. I think he is a retard, though. I respectfully, of course. I think he fucking is. Look, all I was ever indicating when cutting this shit was that clearly I don't want to be associated with a guy that can do these types of things.
And really going off on Doc when it comes to self-accountability.
And listen, I'm not a big fan of this Nick Merckx guy for a couple of reasons, but I'm going to give him credit for this. And I always like to try and keep everything realistic and honest. You could take a stand on whatever you want. He took a stand on the I don't even know what to call. Man, I got to be careful because I'm an old man, and today you got to be careful what you say because if you word it wrong, you're finished. Back in my day, we used to call them. Oh God, I don't. They're cross dressers or whatever. They're men that dress up like women. Whatever you want to call them. Back in our day, I don't even know if you can call them transvestites, but that's what we used to call them. I don't want to get fucking canceled out because I don't. They're men that dress like women and present themselves as women. Whatever the legal word to call folks that do that today. And frankly, I don't really give a shit. People do what they want to do. I'm one of them guys, live and let live, as long as you ain't hurting nobody. And he made a big deal about it because he said leave the kids out of all of this kind of talk, which I kind of agree with him on that. I don't think you need to have, a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid exposed to gender altering or any of that kind of crap. I think you just gotta teach young kids enough. It's enough to teach them math and how to read and all that kind of spelling and all that kind of crap to worry about all this other crazy nonsense. And he took a stand and to leave the kids out of it, which, in my opinion, he was right about. And that was a big deal. He lost his character in Call of Duty over all of that, and then Tim the Tap Man had to pull his out, which I don't know why they gave them two guys characters in Call of Duty anyway. They should have gave Scumpy, Seth Abner, Scump, a person in Call. Anyway, and then he went on with this stance and said, you know what, you're going after young girls. I can't support that, which. Absolutely. I feel the same way. And he just wanted to see what was going on. And once he ascertained and he felt he had enough evidence to say, this guy, he actually did what they said he did. He cut ties with him, and I can't blame the guy. I'll give him that. He has a set of moral standards, whether you agree with him or you don't. Some I agree with, some of the things he says I agree with. Many of the things he says I don't agree with. And at the core, I don't think Nick Merckx is a bad guy. I just think he tries too hard. But we'll leave it at that. We'll go on to the video.
Which I think, based on all of his reactions, is pretty accurate. That lack of accountability, it seems like he just likes to point the finger and try and change the argument, as he did mention so many people, ourselves yesterday included, right? He named so many streamers who spoke up against him and then blamed all the news outlets for speaking up against him. And as Nick even says, when it comes to accountability and being a phony, Nick calls him out for literally playing a character. If he wants to call anyone like Nick a phony, he dresses up for a living on stream.
I'm out, man. Well, whatever. We already know the dude cheated on his wife. Then he's talking about, this guy met my wife. I mean, motherfucker, you cheated on her. I met her? That's the highlight here? Yeah, I shook her hand at the Super Bowl halftime for 7 minutes. Yeah, I fucking met her. She was a nice lady. I feel bad for her, man. I hope they figure it out. I seriously, I hope they figure it out. I hope it's great for them, man. I really do. I know it must be hard, this whole thing for them. I hope they figure it out. But I didn't go up there talking shit about his wife and his kid. I just made a little point that I think was important. How you doing this with a wife and kid? That's all I said. And I think it's a pretty fair fucking question. Because everybody thinks this guy is up on some fucking hilltop like we all pray to him or something. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing?
You don't know what you did. Speak to me. Your body language speaks to me.
That was my sixth thought. Number 7. This is number 7. And this is one that's been on my mind for a long time, but he's calling everybody fake. In this clip that I seen. Fake and phony, fake and phony, fake and fucking phony, fake. Nick Merckx, fake and phony. That's what he keeps saying. Fake and phony. Right? Fucking. Am I slow? Or is this guy not get in front of a camera every day of his life in a fucking costume? Are we fucking serious right now? No, I'm dead ass with you right now. You gonna see me outside, you gonna see this, I'm gonna wear the same fucking kit right here, bro. This motherfucker wears a goddamn wig. Are you fucking kidding me? I just don't get it. We're all fake and phony because we cut ties with you after you did some fucking crazy shit. Put all your boys in a tough spot. You want to get real about it?
And that's the truth. He did put these guys in a tough spot because they were thick as thieves, these guys. And then he goes and he pulls this, and now all these guys now got to answer for this, and that is a tough spot. And I'm gonna agree with him again. They put him in a tough spot. He put these guys in a tough spot.
Get fucking real about it. You put everybody around you in a tough ass spot because you're a dog. Because you're a dog, bro. And I've known plenty of dogs, man. But when you go below that 18-year-old bullshit, you a different kind of dog now. Now you're a weirdo. And you can't fucking, you have no self-awareness. You can't reflect. You can't hold yourself accountable. You can't be a man. Being a man is about holding yourself accountable with things you do. It's a really important part about growing up and being a fucking man. You're a father. You're a husband. Look, you fucked up. You got to own it. You got to be a fucking man. You fucked up. You don't get to go around and blame everybody else for the shit that you did. That's not what you do. That's not what you do.
And so if there was anyone who was going to respond to Doc and his statements, it was definitely going to be Nick. I doubt that some...
And by the way, this guy is right again. You gotta, if you do that kind of crap, you gotta own it. And that speaks for itself. And I can't say that I disagree with anything that this guy Nick Merckx had to say here. And I think he's pretty much hit the nail on the head. And his response to me was a reasonable one and a truthful one. We'll carry on here, and I'll
someone
shut
like
this
Z
one
or
down here.
Lupo, maybe even Tim the Tatman would talk about these things, because it's beating a dead horse at this point. It's going to bring you nothing but hate. Nick,
That's correct. See, this is beating a dead horse, and I don't understand. I really don't understand why this guy did this. I don't. I really don't know what his motivating fact, what he did this for. I don't understand, and I think he just made the situation worse for himself. We're going to go on to the third video and the final one, then I'm going to give you my final thoughts. This is Z-Laner, who was one of the guys. Tim the Tatman, Z-Laner, Nick Merckx, and Doc were the ones that played for Dance during the pandemic, and that's when all this really blew up. Me, when the pandemic was happening, I was working 20 hours a day picking up dead bodies. So I was really, that's why I'm late to the party on all this, because that year or so was a blur to me, because all I did was work. And it was terrible. But anyway, let's go and let's check this one out. We'll go to the next video here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll give you my thoughts on this.
what's up, peeps? Welcome back to more gaming news. As we continue to talk about the Dr. Disrespect situation, we talk about the initial stuff that Doc brought up 6 months after the fact of all of these people and streamers speaking up against him for his admitted actions. He talked about Z-Laner, Dr. Lupo, he talked about Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, and many more in a rant which some people thought was out of place and kind of very late on all of this. We now have a response from Z-Laner, who spoke about this multiple times on stream, actually multiple times, calling Doc and his statement extremely narcissistic.
So you're going to apologize to Doc and get back to dripping in heat. Daniel, brother, I owe nobody an apology, man. I think that was the wildest statement I've ever heard. If anything, I'm pretty sure he owes proof and then probably an apology to...
Listen to what he just said there. It's important. Number one, he says he owes nobody an apology, which he doesn't. Doc put this guy in a spot, number one. Number two, just like he put his other boy Nick Merckx in a spot and Tim the Tatman in a spot. But number two, the key word to that is he owes proof. We'll continue.
The boys. I think that was some of the most narcissistic, disrespectful shit I've honestly ever heard. But anyway,
oh my, there's 7 of them.
Casey to get a $10 super chat as well, baby. Manuel, think the one gifted membership. I appreciate that, baby. Thank you.
And then later on stream, he goes to kind of explain the entire situation, something he has recapped over the last few months, and many times he has talked about this instance and why he has taken distance from Dr. Disrespect and now will never play with the guy again. He tries to re-explain the situation of how he handled it very early on and how eventually he had to take a step back. But he gave Doc credit at first, hoping at some point he was going to clear his name, and then once...
See, that's the important part of all this. You know, these guys kept their powder dry, so to speak. They waited and waited and waited as they all felt, oh, he's gonna clear this all up. This is all baloney. We're gonna square this away. He's gonna square this away, and they'll go back to the way it used to be. All right, and that's where we are here at this stage of this. That, you know, they're waiting. These guys are all waiting for him to come out and clear himself. We'll continue.
He admitted to everything, and it became very, very obvious that he was not going to be clearing his name whatsoever, and he admitted to doing it all. That is when he had to take a distance, and he chose to cut it off.
Those were good times, man. Hey, listen, because that's what good friends do, man. It's just, you do that. But then, like, new information can arise. You know what I'm saying? Years can go by, and new information can arise that you previously didn't even know was the case, and actually were under a completely different understanding for years and years and years, thinking that it was actually, like, some other problem, which I stood by and defended the whole time. I turned down tons of deals. I did so many different things to kind of shove it in their face for fucking my friend over. Little did I know that it was actually mistakes of his own, and it's unfortunate. You know what I mean? And that's not to say that there aren't people that aren't maybe out to get him in some way. But for the whole narrative to be that everyone's out to get him and that these are all blown into proportion things. Listen, I've already said my piece on this, folks. You guys can. I will respect anyone's opinion. Everyone is totally fine having whatever opinion they want. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. But I'm just not on board with inappropriately talking to minors. I'm not on board with that. So that is why I step away. You know what I'm saying?
And let me make something clear to everybody here. That's about as taboo. That's about as taboo a subject or taboo a thing that you can do in our society. Is have untoward conversations or untoward activities with a minor child. Even in jails and prisons, even guys that are incarcerated, there's a special category for those folks with people that are actually incarcerated. Even they dislike those people to the point where they're in danger if the prison population finds out that they're in jail because they sexually assaulted a minor or were pedophiles of any kind or whatever. That's just the lowest of the low in jails, and them guys have a tough time in prison because even criminals look down upon these people as being the lowest of the low. So when somebody makes an allegation that you are a pedophile or you're, doing untoward things to minor children, that's a serious allegation that, even when you get out of jail in our penal system here in the United States, when you're labeled a child predator, you have to, when you're released and you serve your time, you must check in with local law enforcement because they keep an eyeball on where you are after you're released. That follows you forever. So, make no mistake about it. This is serious business here. Very serious business. We'll keep the video rolling.
I'm saying, like, that is why I've stepped away. And I've already made that clear. I made that clear when I made an announcement. And guess what? That announcement that I made, when I made a statement fucking half a year ago now, when everything was going down, do you know when that statement was made? That statement was made not after news articles broke out and I'm trying to save face or do anything like that. It happened multiple weeks after, when innocent until proven guilty, until he made his statement. That's all I needed. I waited. I was thinking.
That's correct. They all innocent until proven guilty, and then this guy puts a tweet out and says, yeah, I might have crossed the line in these conversations. He did himself no favors. And when that tweet came out, when he tweeted that, and of course that tweet's since been deleted, but when that tweet came out, that was really the end. That's when the dominoes went bing, 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 bing. And I can't believe that his career is where it is today after all of that. We'll continue.
He's going to, any day now, a post is going to come out. He's going to clear all this up. It's going to make sense. And the second I saw that he admitted to inappropriately talking to a minor, boom. That's enough for me, man. That's enough for me. I'm sorry. I can't get on board with that, especially when you have a wife and a child.
See, that's the damning part of all of this. Because this guy now, he, one time, okay, and I guess he made a video and he cried and he apologized to his wife and all that. And let me explain something to you. This is between him and his wife, much of this stuff. I know he's a very wealthy man, and I'm sure she lives a very opulent lifestyle. And maybe she's willing to look the other way to continue to live the lifestyle that she's living. And I feel badly for his wife because of all of this. He cheated on her once before, like I mentioned earlier in this with a at TwitchCon years ago with some young one of these young YouTube tarts, and he got caught, and his wife took him back. I know there was a video, and he was crying and bup, and they're back. He saved face. She took him back. That's between them two. Ain't for me to say. All right? But he is married. He does have a child now. And he had a child. She was pregnant or whatever, or just gave birth when he fucked around on her the first time. Now this comes out later. So now this is the second time. And this can't be easy on her. And anyway, that's the background to this, which makes this even all the more alarming. That even an allegation like this comes out, that he's talking to some young tomato, young underage tomato at that. We'll continue.
I can't. That is my own personal morals that I like to stand by. I can't. I don't know why. Like everybody else can. Like I said, I'll respect anyone else's opinion. Watch and consume any content of whoever you'd like to, and believe whatever you'd like to believe. I'd like to also believe what I believe and have my own morals and places where I draw certain lines. But you know what I mean? You're not going to hear me out here disrespecting people or even trying to talk about it anymore. It's fucking 99% of the time. It's just people always coming in here asking, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on that? It's like, bro, I'm here trying to do my own thing. Like, I can't be involved. I just can't. I can't be involved with that. Like, it's that simple. I don't know if this was anybody else, not a celebrity, someone from your hometown that you heard of talking to your child, brother, this wouldn't even be a story. It wouldn't. Like, it's, I don't know what to do, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to get that through to people.
But he also stresses the same thing that many others out there have been saying. If you really want to clear yourself, and instead of pointing the fingers at all these other people who spoke out against you and distanced themselves, and that you call friends and say, oh, they met my wife, so why would they not stand by me during such a crazy situation? Zealander says, why do you not just show the messages? You know, show the proof. He even
I'm going to fast forward.
All I needed to see
Shot the Reaper.
Was that because that's what I was thinking was going to happen. I was thinking, okay, well, you know, no, none of this is real. All this news coming out, he's going to come on in a day or two. He's going to clear it all up. It's going to be simple. What ended up actually happening? He came on and admitted that he did that.
Correct. That's correct.
And then I'm like, oh shit. Okay, well now I'm stuck at a crossroads because here's someone that I am a friend. I should have some type of like bias towards this, which I almost kind of did. Like the whole time I'm scrolling for those weeks and weeks and weeks, I'm scrolling, I'm reading articles, I'm reading different things, I'm reading the updated news coming out. I'm waiting for his response. I'm waiting for that to happen. I'm like, nothing's happening. Why is nothing happening? I'm slowly starting to be like, okay, well, no, maybe he's just taking some time, whatever, getting his shit together, lawyers, etc., whatever. Then comes out and says that, and I'm like, oh, okay, well then there's no further thing to explain. There's no new information or new stuff that needs to come out for my mind to be changed. If you admit that is what you did, if you admit that you're inappropriately talking to minors, I can't get on board with that. I said this fucking 6 months ago in a Twitter post, on a video. I still believe that today. I will believe that for the rest of my life. If you are a full-grown adult man and you are talking to a minor inappropriately, that is weird. I'm sorry, bro. That is
250 season something rebirth. Sure.
I can't get on board with that. I don't care if illegal stuff happened. I can't get on board with that because that's how every fucking episode of To Catch a Predator begins, brother. You get caught in the fucking in the infancy stages of it before anything bad does happen, and then fucking Chris Hansen comes out and says,
Babe,
What
wow.
were you? What were your intentions?
I'm
Oh, my
not
intentions were never to do this and this. How can anyone fucking believe you? How can anyone believe that that is actually true? How do you expect for people to believe you and not think that you're delusional for thinking that? Just take 2 seconds out of your day. If you did nothing wrong, if you said nothing wrong, screenshot, no text needed, no explanation needed, screenshot, show what was said. And if it wasn't that bad, then there's no reason it shouldn't be shared. And don't say there's NDAs or there's things that are holding back, because there's not. He himself has admitted every party has already broken NDAs and everything, so everything is on the table. Everything can be on the table.
God, there's so
He's
evil.
choosing not to share that information.
Two teams dropped to us.
And then to say I need, I owe nobody an apology. Man. That's.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's Z-Laner's statement. Out of everybody, he had the most, in my opinion, he did the best job of summing this all up. Now I'm going to give you my nickel into this whole deal. Watching all of this, hearing all of this, number one, the only reason that I could come up with that he didn't show the messages was because of the young lady that's involved doesn't want to be involved, and I'm thinking he probably paid her a sum of money for her to keep her mouth shut, and she made him promise, as long as you don't out me, I'll keep my mouth shut. That's number one. And that's my segue into the whole law enforcement part of this. I am sure he broke no law. Because I'm sure Twitch, with what they had message-wise, I'm sure they would happily release that to law enforcement, because it would have saved them a lot of money in paying out this guy. Because they lost in court and had to settle out and pay him tens of millions of dollars. So that tells me he didn't break any laws. Because if he would have, believe me, he would have been handcuffed and hauled away to the Who's Got. So I don't think he technically broke any laws that they could arrest him for. I think this came out early enough before the Chris Hansen moment, as Z-Laner so artfully brought out in his commentary. He didn't get to the Chris Hansen moment. However, because you didn't break a law doesn't mean that what you did was okay. And that's why I believe he was reinstated by YouTube. Rumble picked him up, and he's going to start slowly picking up endorsements again, I'm sure. And my personal opinion is this. If somebody would have came to me and said, you've been talking to a minor in an inappropriate fashion and trying to get busy with a minor and this and that, if I'm innocent, I can tell you this right now, I'm going to say, you all can go fuck yourselves. Here's everything. Get off of my ass. I ain't that kind of a guy. And he put himself, being DrDisrespect, put himself in this position. And the only reason why I could think of that he hasn't come clean with all of this is because he got into an NDA with this young girl, this young woman, and
Another day and another response.
and they pulled the pin on his ass. That's the only thing I can come up with. And do I think he did? Obviously, I don't think he broke the law. Because if he broke the law, he would be in jail today. So he didn't cross whatever the legal threshold is to be incarcerated for what he did or to even be charged or whatever. But that doesn't mean what the guy did was right, and that doesn't mean that the guy wasn't trying to get busy with this young girl. I think at the end of the day, I think this guy got a problem. DrDisrespect. I think he got a problem. And he needs to get help before he really does get his ass into a pickle where he can't get out of it. Because he comes off to be like the kind of guy that thinks he's smarter than everybody else. And it's typical behavior of a person who is living life on the edge, crossing the line, to project, to blame other people. And there's another prominent guy right now that's very adept at all of this. I'm not even going to get into that tonight, but in the future I'm going to delve into this person. But I think you all know who he is. But that's what people do. He's looking to deflect. It's everybody else's fault. They all abandoned me. They owe me an apology. No, bro. They don't owe you an apology. You owe them an apology for putting them in a bad spot. Number one. Number two, if you didn't do anything, you need to clear yourself, which you've had 8 months, 9 months to do so, and you haven't. Did you break a law? No. You didn't break a law, or they would have put you in jail. I think it's quite evident that whatever you did was over the line to what normal morals and values of everyday people think is a bridge too far. And I'm one of them. I don't think anybody should be out that's of age. And this guy ain't like he's 21 diddling with a 17-year-old. Or even 19 or 20. This guy at the time was in his 30s. Married and had a child. And trying to get with a girl that's under the age of 18, I'm assuming. Now, in some states, the state I live in right now, New York, I think the age of consent in New York, I think is 17. It may even be 16. Some states, it's as low as 15, believe it or not. But that doesn't make it, just because it's legal, doesn't make it morally okay from a societal standpoint. And anybody out there, if you know, most of the people that watch this stuff are young people that don't have children yet, are just starting life. But you get to be of a certain age and you got a daughter that's 12, 13, 14, 18, 17, 16 years old that's in high school, you know, you don't want her cavorting around with some 30-year-old dude. That's a little sick. 30-some-year-old guy, especially a guy in his position that's married, has a child, and he's trying to diddle around with a girl that's 7. I'm assuming this girl was 17. And what I'm thinking is the state that maybe she was talking to him from, that was the legal age of consent, so he couldn't be prosecuted. That's my guess on this. That this girl was 17, and wherever she was at when she was talking to him, she was in a state where that was legal. And that's why he wasn't charged. I don't think that's a reach to say that. Probably that's the case. And that's what's going on with this. It doesn't seem to bother these younger people or whatever because they're all watching him. But all this nonsense of innocent till proven guilty and all that, I agree with you. Do I think the guy broke any laws? No. But does that make it right? All right. I mean, at what is the line, and everybody has a different line. I mean, I personally wouldn't associate with this guy. He's a hell of an entertainer. I'm going to give him that. I'm going to tell you this right now. Yep, he's a hell of an entertainer. His shows are produced well. His streams are produced well. They're terrific. He does a hell of a job. But what this guy does in his private life, I don't think is so good. And let me just say, a leopard doesn't change its spots. So I wouldn't be, I think he's going to lay low. I think he's going to behave himself. But I'm going to make a prediction to all of you. He's going to do it again. Because he's gotten away with it now twice. And it doesn't seem like his wife really gives two shits about it. Because she's living a pampered life. I'm sure they have a beautiful house out there in California. He lives in California. I'm sure they got a beautiful home out there. I'm sure she's living quite well. She doesn't work. I'm sure she's there home with her child, and I'm sure she has all the baubles that wealth brings. And she probably doesn't want to give that up. And that's the way it is. But I can tell you, and I hope I'm wrong, but I usually ain't. I've been around the world too long, too much. I'm too old. I've seen all this shit. Guys like this don't change. And he's gonna fuck up again. I can promise you. He'll fuck up again. Because he can't help himself. Because he really thinks he's better than everybody else, and he's smarter than everybody else. And Z-Laner hit the nail on the head. The guy's a classic narcissist. He thinks who the fuck he is. And I can tell you guys, when you get to that point, I've seen this all too often in my lifetime. You get to the point where you think you're better than everybody else, the Lord has a way of squaring you away. And he's going to get squared away, and it won't be long for him because he can't help himself. He thinks who the fuck he is, and he thinks he's better and smarter than everybody else. And I can tell you, if he's gonna fuck around, but if he's got a brain, and he must like him young. So, my advice to him is make sure that the next one you dally with is at least 18 or 19 years old. Up your age a couple of years, and you'll be all right as long as your old lady says it's okay. If the wife says it's okay, that's between them two. None of my business. But I don't think there's any doubt that this guy did something wrong with a young girl, got caught, and they all took a stand and says, "You may not have broke the law, but we're not gonna have this." And kudos to them. Kudos to the people that took a stand and says, you may not have broke the law, but this is unacceptable. And anybody that has a young girl, a daughter that 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, because these sickies, they go after kids, good for whoever stood up to this. Because my opinion is, he did what they said he did, except he didn't break the law. He broke no laws. Because if he didn't do these things, believe me, he would have pumped all those messages out and said, I don't know what you people are talking about. And that's what everybody was looking for. They were looking for him to clear his name They were looking for him to clear his name, and he never did. And my belief is he broke no law, but he can't clear his name that way because, number one, I think those messages were damning because that's why Twitch cut the cord. Remember, this is a business, and Twitch isn't doing that well business-wise anyway. All right? And he's their biggest guy. He was their biggest star. They were paying him a lot of money, but he was making them a lot of money. So it was very difficult for them, from a business standpoint, to cut the cord with him. And everybody everybody likes to turn this shit into wokeness and all this other goofy crap. Listen, stop with all this shit. All right? Right is right, wrong is wrong. Period. Right is right, wrong is wrong. Forget that's what these people do. They create labels to target things. But at the end of the day, what you got to look to is what is right and what is wrong. What's acceptable, what's not acceptable. But everybody is very, very effective today with the way media is, disinformation, all of it. All right? But what you all got to do is forget who the messenger is. You might not like the messenger. I'm not a big fan of Nick Merckx. The guy rubs me the wrong way. For many reasons. However, all right, I might not particularly care for the guy too much, but what he said was true and was correct and was right. So for me to vilify Nick Merckx because I don't like him, and to say what he said was all bullshit because I don't like him is not good, and it's not right. There's right and there's wrong. And I don't think anybody can defend a 30-something-year-old married guy with a young child inappropriately messaging an underage girl. Period. Period. That's all I'm going to say on the subject. My personal opinion is, I'll break this down real simple for you. Do I think DrDisrespect messaged an underage child? Yes. Do I think he broke a law? No. I don't think he broke any laws or he'd be arrested. They would have arrested him. For something like this, he would have been arrested. Number 3, my personal opinion is, I think he wrote a check to this kid, told her, you don't say anything, I won't out you. Because I don't think this girl wanted to be outed. I don't think this girl wanted any part of this. She wants this to go away just as much as he does. Because she doesn't want the flood of publicity and people hounding her. Because that's very, very difficult, especially on a young kid. Imagine yourself, 16, 17 years old, having to deal with what the onslaught of media attention would have been in this particular instance. And not to say that probably that girl was innocent either, because she knew what she was doing too. All right? So I'm not gonna, but she's 17. And he should know better. He should know better. I think he paid her off to shut up. I think this all went away. They drummed this out. I think people at Twitch had an axe to grind with this guy. I think there was a lot of animosity, and I think as a result, these guys came out after the NDA was up and outed this guy. Now, my only question is, why didn't they release the texts? I can understand why he doesn't want them released. Why didn't they release them? Unless it was part of the settlement And that settlement was these texts will never see the light of day, or these messages or whatever they were. That's my guess. That's my best guess. And that's where I stand. As far as Zelander, in my opinion, and I think he's a weasel too. He cheats and all this stuff. He's a weasel too. However, again, my personal feelings about some of these people don't matter. What he said was absolutely spot on as far as I'm concerned, and was definitely legitimate. And that's my personal opinion, and that opinion won't change. But that's my take on this situation. I also think if I was him, being DrDisrespect, I'd shut my mouth, do my streams, and leave these other people alone, and let this die down as much as possible. I wouldn't keep dredging this up, because he doesn't need to. Financially now, he's right back where he was, if not better. So if I was him, I'd keep my mouth shut. He's a great entertainer. He's a great streamer. His productions are terrific. But as far as a human being's concerned, I don't hold him in any regard whatsoever, and I'm predicting he'll do this again. The only question is going to be, is he going to have enough intelligence to learn from this one here and go for an 18 or a 19-year-old girl rather than going after a 17-year-old kid? So we'll see.